Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Thank you very much, Ken. Welcome everybody to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Josh Taylor in tonight for Rich Walsh, joined in studio by columnist for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and also he has his own show, Paul Zeise Show on 93.7 The Fan. Paul Zeise joining me in studio. We're also joined in studio by a gnat of some sort.
Yeah, I think I just ended the gnat. I think I just got rid of the gnat. I think I swatted it. Yes.
Excellent work. I'll bill you.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, well, we're talking about things that seem to not completely go away. Pirates in San Diego facing the Padres. It's 1-0 in the first inning. They scratch across a run on a wild pitch. Josh Bell scores. But, Paul, I think the discussion going into this road trip, of course, they played 3 games in New York, took 2 out of 3 there. The discussion was there was a lot hanging on the result of this road trip because with the trade deadline about a month away, there had to be some discussion of what this team's going to do in the next month. Are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? Of course, we heard what Neil Huntington said, not too long ago, that if the trade deadline was nearby, they would be buyers. I don't know if everyone's believing that, but that's what's been said. But we all knew about the importance of this road trip. Now, maybe it's a good thing that they're facing the Mets and the Padres back-to-back because when you're facing 2 bad teams, maybe it helps you. Then again, they lost 3 out of 4 to the Padres. So there's that. But I'll ask you this question. Going into this particular road trip, knowing what's at stake here, how much do you really put into the results of what we see against the Mets, against the Padres, even though they face a Dodgers team that's kind of limping, but how much do you put into this 9-game trip?
I don't think it matters. I don't. I think the Pirates are going to sell some players off, and that's what they're going to do. I don't think I really think if you push Neil Huntington to it, put him in a corner, are you guys legitimately close to being a contender? He would say no.
Low sodium pentothal in the
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He would say no. And if the answer is no, then what are we talking about here? A team that wins 81 games or 82 games? There's no difference between that and 77.
I said 77 before the season started.
Yeah, so I think regardless of what, unless they maybe go on a roll here and then they come home and they got 5 against the Brewers and they go 4-1 there and all of a sudden they're legitimately 1 or 2 games out of first place. Maybe they'll look to make a couple of moves, but I don't think that. I just don't know. I don't think that they want to add salary. I don't think they want to add players. I think they want to subtract some players and open up some spots for some younger guys and really push for 2019.
It does lend to the discussion of when you're talking about adding to a team, you wonder if they have enough in place to be a team that's worth adding to. Because one of the big discussions, and I got this discussion with Jack Zarensic doing pregame and postgame earlier this week. The one thing we talked about how this team has no 4-hitter. This team has no bona fide cleanup guy. Hits for power, can do that. They don't have that guy in the order. How many guys have we seen? We've seen Francisco Cervelli hit there. David Freese is hitting there tonight. We've seen Colin Moran there. Josh Bell was there earlier in the season. We've seen a couple different guys shuffling in and out of this 4 spot because right now this team does not have one. Can you really be a team expected to add when you don't have some of the basic things that most good teams have?
Well, and I think the other thing is you've got a young pitching staff that's really, trying to find its way. They're inconsistent.
With one guy on the DL and Chad.
Right. You've got inconsistency there. You've got a bullpen that's got a lot of young guys, so
also
they're
very
inconsistent.
consistent.
You know what I'm saying? As we said at the start, you don't have a ton of home runs. I mean, think about it. The first 5 weeks of the season, 6 weeks of the season, they were hitting home runs and people were saying, oh, look at all this power. Well, now if you look at it, they're about 9th, 10th in the National League in home runs, if that high.
And they finally got their first double-digit guy on Monday.
Yeah.
That was the end of June.
And that was Polanco, who had 8 the first weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then 2 since, not the first weekend, but obviously, his first month he was hitting the ball out of the park. The bottom line is you don't have a ton of power. And anything else, you got a team that's probably in a 78 to 82 win team. And unless you're really going to go out and add a pitcher, a bullpen guy, a couple of bench guys, you're probably not making yourself a contender.
And even then, is it still enough? It's a question worth asking. But we'll get back to Pirates in a little bit. Let's shift over, talk Penguins a little bit here, Paul. The opportunity for the Penguins to actually make some moves. Jim Rutherford has done that. He sends out Connor Sherry. He sends out Matt Hunwick. He brings back a draft pick for those two. It allows him to re-sign Brian Rust. It allows him to re-sign Riley Shahan. We've seen multiple reports that Jack Johnson's going to sign come Sunday. In your opinion, are they done? Can you do more? What else?
No, they're gonna do some more. They've got a little bit of money, now, and they freed up some cap space and allowed them to do some of the things they had to do, which I thought Rust was something they had to do. I think they're going to add a couple of more players, and frankly, you know what? I don't know that it'll happen now, but it won't shock me if there's a Phil Kessel, at least some discussions about
leaving it out there.
You know what I mean? Moving that salary and adding some other things. I mean, to me, when you make a deal like that, you probably aren't going to win it. You're probably going to, whoever you're trading with is probably going to get the better of it because you're just not going to be able to replace what he does.
That kind of value for value
right.
is hard to quantify.
When you're looking at the money he makes, I mean, that's one asset that you can, move and free up a lot of money.
All right, well, we will take a break. We come back. We will take your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas & Bordas hotline. We'll do that when we come back. Stick around.